He is now leading every other organization in NASCAR as far as stage wins. That's how dominant they have been, this team has been, as far as stage racing has gone in 2017. And now, under 5 laps to go.
Sort of vision of the car owner, Mr. Visser, to put this program together and the way he's done it. Bring a big organization. Let them help you. Remember, he had an association with Childress Racing. He moved to Toyota, started working with Joe Gibbs. So he had this vision about, let's do it in Colorado, but let's just don't do it completely by ourselves. They initially tried that. It didn't work. They went to this formula. This formula obviously is working.
Yes, it has worked very well, especially tonight. 15 seconds, the gap between first and second. 4 laps, now 3 laps to go in Kentucky.
So with a 15-second lead, Jeff, when does Martin Truex Jr. start thinking about perhaps a yellow, start hearing things in his race car? Can it be distracting to not have the pressure of someone chasing you from behind?
Yes, but I think for this car and Martin, how fast they've been, that started about 100 laps ago, to be honest with you. I mean, I think it was...
He had that.
Yeah, I think that everybody in that team knew they had the car to beat. Now, this race isn't over. We've seen strange things happen. The bad pit stop at the wrong time, the speeding on pit road at the wrong time, the wreck at the wrong, all those kind of things. And when you have a car that fast, first of all, you want to make sure you keep it that fast. And then when you do, you immediately start thinking, okay, what bad is going to happen?
Not many things bad have happened to the 78 team, but a caution does come out just as we're talking about it. The caution comes out before Martin Truex Jr. got to the start-finish line, and the smoke rolling out from underneath the 41.
Obviously, some sort of major fluid leak on this 41. The smoke looks like it's starting up underneath the front or a tire down.
Stuff's coming out of it, too.
Well, I don't see any damage, so I don't think he had any wall contact. Oh, the smoke is now just pouring out of the 41 car. I would have to guess that is some sort of engine issue.
And flames underneath, and actually we saw flames inside of the car. Kelly.
And it was just a couple of laps ago. Kurt said just that. I think I'm blowing up, and you can see it there. It's all confirmed now as they head back to the garage.
We say it looked like, without a doubt, Truex Jr. and his team had dominated this race, but it wasn't over. Anything can happen. Well, anything that can happen just happened. So now you have a decision to make, Steve. Are you going to pit or are you not going to pit? You got to have the pit stop that you need if you are going to pit. I mean, a lot of stuff can go wrong for the 78 right here.
There's only 8 cars on the lead lap, so that definitely could come into play as far as guys who are wanting to come to pit road potentially for a 2-lap shootout. And we saw the 78 stay out. Nobody was coming behind with him.
Well, nobody, but you remember Larson's the second place car. So everyone is coming to pit road except for the 78. His lead was so big, those cars hadn't even got to the pit road opening yet. So it looks to me like the only car on the racetrack will be the 78 on old tires, Marty.
Of course, everybody's going to come down pit road. Here comes Kyle Larson. Their car very good there, but obviously so far behind the 78, they couldn't make much ground. So Larson, just air pressure changes. It's going to be 2 tires here for that 42 car. Up front, Kyle Busch. For those guys, actually, Larson with the last-second call to go to 4 tires for them. Going to be 4 tires as well for Kyle Busch. The call was Cheerios. He said the car a little bit too tight for him.
Looked like a 2-tire stop for Kyle Busch because he got out quite a bit quicker.
He did left side.
So, I mean, the only hope that 78 has now is A, his car is so fast he can just, hold these guys off. The other thing is, we are not at a 6-lane racetrack. So, he can play a little defense. There are 2 pretty good lanes, but, unlike, say, in California, where we see them 5 and 6 wide, he doesn't have to worry about somebody being all the way up by the wall. When they restart, it's really going to come down to turns 1 and 2.
Kevin Harvick came to pit road and sped on pit road. So too fast for the 4 team. Now, we have seen the race leader choose the outside line virtually every time for the restarts. And they have been able to hold that position and get out front using the momentum on that high line coming out of turn number 2. Is it the tires that are going to determine if the 78 team and Martin Truex Jr. can try that high line with the momentum and hopefully get out in front and have 2 laps to be able to hold off everyone else that's got either 2 tires or 4 tires.
I personally believe that he has to restart where he thinks he can launch on the initial start the best from. But he needs to try to beat them to turn 1. The goal can't be to try to be side by side with somebody in turn 1. He has so many more laps on his tires, almost 50 more laps on his tires. That is a lot. I know that we've talked about tire wear not being that bad tonight, but that is a lot to be given up. So I personally, if I'm Martin Truex Jr., I'm thinking, okay, can I launch better from the inside or the outside? I need to beat them to turn 1. I do not want to be side by side with anybody when I get there.
It's been a dominating night, but it started off that the 42 was really the fastest car on the track, coming from the back to the front, and he had to do it twice because after speeding on pit road, he had to go all the way to the back and do it again.
So Brad Keselowski underneath the 14 of Clint Boyer. Really loose underneath him, lost it. 48 of Jimmy Johnson involved as well.
That wasn't the only accident we saw. Just after that, just a few laps later, we saw Casey King challenge the position of Trevor Bayne, get barely inside his bumper cover, and make contact, hard contact for both cars.
And we mentioned as the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. was about to get the white flag, he had been the dominant car all night long, winning stage 1, winning stage 2. And the only driver who has ever swept the stages and gone on to win where he did in Las Vegas, looking to do that until the caution came out. And now we're going into overtime for the very first time at Kentucky. It's never happened before.
Yeah, I know people at home sitting there talking about why didn't they pit? I mean, why? They had the fastest car. Why didn't they pit? Because sometimes when you're the leader, Steve, it's actually a disadvantage. And you said it. He had such a lead on everybody. They had plenty of time to sit there and watch and see what he was going to do. So had he pitted, some people may have stayed out. He ends up with not the lead. A very tough call, tough spot for Colburn to be in.
Yeah, I mean, I think Colburn made the right decision. I don't think he can afford to pit with the fastest car that was easily beating everybody by lap time and give those other cars a chance to stay out and trap him back in, or excuse me, trap him back in traffic on new tires. I think while this may not work out, I'm going to support Colburn's decision. I think when you have the best car, the dominant car, give your chance to the driver to win the race off the front row.
So we are in overtime for the first time in Kentucky, and we're looking down at the overtime line, which is almost right in the dead center of the backstretch. And again, the way overtime works, when the drivers come through to take the green, they will get the green and race to the overtime line. If the race leader gets to the overtime line and a caution has not come out, the race will then be official. So they will be able to race back until either a caution comes out or they get to the checkered flag. If a caution comes out before the race leader gets to the overtime line, they will restart and try to get another start and another green flag finish. Kelly.
Well, let's find out from the man who had to make that tough call, Colburn. Obviously, you guys stay out, but some of those other fast cars come in and get fresh tires. How confident are you in your decision now?
It's, damn it if you do, damn it if you don't. I mean, we're so many lap cars buffer in between them, and they have plenty of time to react off our call. So I imagine we come, you're going to have 2 or 3 that are going to stay out, and I don't know if you make that back up. But I think, it's going to be a lengthy caution here, so let tires cool down. And, I think he was being pretty easy on them there that last run. So I think we'll be good. If we can get through 1 and 2, we'll be fine.
All right, thank you, Cole.
I love the interview. I agree with all his comments. From everything from the length of yellow to cool the tires to, see, he already knew 2, maybe 3 cars. You're starting about talking, starting row 2 or 3. Not sure you can get back through the field. He ran all of the scenarios through his head. Veteran crew chief. I agree with the decision. Now, it's still maybe a losing decision for the 78. But I do agree, Jeff, it's all going to come down to 1 and 2. If he gets off from turn 2 clear and can just protect the bottom of 3 and 4, that's all it's going to take.
Yeah, Cole agrees. We've all agreed. It's all about how he launches. And right now, you see Martin Truex swerving back and forth, trying to get those tires cleaned up, make sure there's no debris on those tires, so when he accelerates, he won't spin them. and not spin those rear tires. But it's so difficult. You have older tires, hotter tires than everyone else.
Let's listen into the 77 radio, teammate to Martin Truex Jr.
Well, this will be interesting. Obviously, the 78 took no tires. The 18 took left side. You're on the right side, and then going behind it.
Martin.
Right in front of him, Kyle Busch. Let's talk to Adam Stevens. Your call for left side tires there. How confident are you and your man on this restart?
I'm confident in Kyle, but I don't know what the heck's going to happen here. I didn't expect everybody to take 4 tires. Really thought the 42 would stay since he'd be on the front row, but found ourselves in a good spot, but it's going to be hard to get there. It's going to be hard to stay there.
Heard talk of a vibration earlier. We saw you go around. Did you have to have one lug on the right rear as well?
Yeah, we think we might have one missing on the right rear. I think the wheels are secure. Shouldn't be a problem, but we'll see.
All right, going to be interesting to see this restart. We all know Kyle Busch, one of the best in the business. Can he pull it off?
You see Kyle Larson on the outside. Is he going to try to make it 4 wide? Listen, he started 40th. There's only been 4 races in Cup history where races were won from 40th or worse. So Kyle Larson's trying to do something very difficult to do.
The restart. Can Martin Truex Jr. get out in front of Kyle Busch? Into the restart zone. We're in overtime. Replay back in the air.
Great job by Truex. He came with speed. He did not get too slow. That helped him not spin those rear tires.
He dives to the bottom of the racetrack in front of the 18 and pulling away as the 18 moves up the track. To the overtime line, they get there. Kyle Larson shoots to the bottom of the track. He moves up to second. We are in overtime, sponsored by Credit One Bank. White flag in the air. One more time around. Is that a wreck behind him? Daniel Suarez is around. Matt Kensington is around. The 3 of Austin Dillon in the grass. The caution has come out. It has been a perfect 10 for Martin Truex Jr. His 10th career win. It will come in Kentucky. What a race for Martin Truex Jr. That is the 3rd win in 2017 for Martin Truex Jr. And the wreck coming off of turn 4.
Wow, it's just way up the racetrack. Pushed the 20 out of the groove. 20 spun and all that loose debris. Nothing Suarez or Dillon can do.
They were well past that overtime line, which determines if they will restart again. Almost got to the white flag. What an amazing restart. Let's look again at this.
That was a great restart. Martin Truex Jr. had hotter tires. Look at the speed he's carrying. It did not get slow. If had he slowed down too much, that would have made it more difficult for him to get going without spinning the rear tires. Great job by Martin Truex Jr. Had the fastest race car in adverse conditions, though, with old tires, and he found a way to make it happen. I thought he was done. But everybody did it, but no way. He's done. Great recovery.
This moment presented by Sunoco. Fueling victories all season long. And Martin Truex Jr. giving the crowd here at Kentucky an incredible show.
Is he in there somewhere?
Fireworks going off just outside of the track. Martin Truex Jr. smoking down the rear tires. With that burnout and the crowd roars. What a dominating performance tonight. Marty.
An incredible performance down here, and I wish you could smell the tire smoke, Rick. Just an unbelievable performance from Martin Truex Jr. It takes speed, it takes execution, but I got to know, when everyone else pitted were you thinking, I'm done?
I thought we were dead. I thought we were done. This is completely unbelievable. I'm so excited to win here. It felt like we had a shot last year and it got away from us on fuel mileage, and just wanted to win here so bad after that. So this sweet redemption. I gotta say hi to Sherry back home. She didn't make it this weekend, so I love you, babe. And all these awesome fans, thank you guys so much for coming out. What an awesome crowd. I hope they enjoyed it, man. That was a whole lot of fun.
When you have a dominant car like that, how worried are you, Martin, in those final 100 laps or whatever?
Worried every lap, waiting for a caution, just especially at the end. You're counting down, 30, last 30, last 20, last 10, and then you get inside of 5, you're like, oh my God, there's no way there's not going to be a caution, and sure enough there was, but fortunately able to hold them off. This thing was just so stout tonight, and a good push from Larson helped us a bunch.
I know these fans are excited to see you in victory, and we'll see you there in a second.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Hey, Rick, we don't have a fog machine down here, I can guarantee you. That's all tire smoke from that 78 car. Martin's going to try to clean it out a little bit before he hops back in. But first, that checkered flag.
You compare it to the dominant performances that we've seen in the past, the clutch performances of great athletes that have gone out and done things that you just can't believe could possibly happen. At one point in time, Martin Truex Jr. had a 15-second lead on the best race car drivers in the world. And it took a restart for him to get the win, clinch this win after winning the state. We'll see him at victory lane next.